Hello. More and more malcontents and curious are coming to the conclusion that something is wrong with the deserts. It's all the more obvious. Traces of a large-scale catastrophe that occurred on our planet not so long ago. Fairy tales of anthropogenesis about the cultural layer no longer impress anyone, except for stubborn sheep from science, who persistently prove to us that we with you, just messed up so much. They don't see either the buried floors or the difference between clay and garbage, or the obvious fact that people are not pigs. Well, of course there are, but not on such a scale. Therefore, if you also think that horse manure turns into clay in 100 years, don't watch this video. And those who are still open to discovery, who are capable of being amazed, I invite to watch and, of course, to discuss. To start with, let's go through the already stated theories. Someone suggests that something fell on Earth. Someone without a shadow of a doubt directly states that a comet fell on Earth. Fell, bounced, fell again. Well, not a comet, but a Friday dance in general, some kind of dances. 2 tops, 3 hops, 48 halves. The image is drawn before the boy's eyes with a card, with a pebble in his hand, who is pushing this pebble on the card. Push, 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 push. And here she fell so hard, and there she is like that. Yes, the imagination is a serious thing. The main thing is not to carry nonsense with a serious look. Someone else decided that desserts are stubble. Well, yes, obviously they were chopping with a chainsaw. No, not with a chainsaw. Maybe with a laser. Then where did the laser get the sawdust? And don't they collect the sawdust for further processing, like making particle board or oriented strand board? No, it's still an image. Yes, I understand these authors beautifully. How not to lose the image if officials simply turn away from the problem? As the saying goes, no holy place is ever empty. And indeed, a flood came from somewhere. The atmosphere lost its density, water rushed onto the earth, and meters of clay and sand were taken from somewhere all over the earth. Strange tilt of the axis of rotation. Again, it's impossible to escape from these factors. That is, of course, if you don't have the magic glasses of an official. So where did all this come from? Let's take the version with a fallen celestial body as a starting point in the investigation. Just like that. I like this version the most. Well, since it's like that, it wouldn't be a sin to take a hand and count. Let's start by calculating the volume of sand in the deserts, okay? No one has thought of that before either. All right, we look at Wikipedia and write down the areas of the largest deserts. To check the accuracy, we verify the information from other sources and... quite a difference. And the desert here is bigger than in Wikipedia. What's the matter? It turns out the data is taken from different sources. In one case, it's the Encyclopedia Britannica. In another, it's the World Wildlife Fund. That's a mess right away. But we are responsible people. Of course, there is a resemblance, but I don't have the resources or time to spend months on a full-fledged investigation. Yes, we don't need it now. In any case, we will average, just because we need to get at least a general idea of the problem. Here is a list of deserts with their areas, but again, each desert has its own relief. Some have a lot of sand, some have none at all. There is also no information on the thickness of the sand layer on the internet. Well, or did I search poorly? I exclude Antarctica for clear reasons. I think the most correct thing would be to take the Sahara Desert as a basis. Somehow, half of the area of all the deserts in the world comes to mind. Besides, the dunes there sometimes reach a height of 300 meters, and sometimes much less. In any case, If I take the average size of the sand area across all the deserts in the world, say 12 meters, then I will definitely not exceed the actual volume of sand. And, most likely, I will greatly underestimate it. Let's move on to the calculation. The total area of all deserts, excluding Antarctica, is 21,894,000 square kilometers, or that many square meters. With a layer thickness of 11 meters, the volume of the occupied sand would be this many cubic meters. And now, using this complex formula, we calculate the diameter of the sphere of the ball that will fill this amount of sand. We get a diameter of the desired comet of 79 kilometers. Once again, 79 kilometers in diameter, according to the minimal calculations. And this is no joke. The asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs was about 10 kilometers, and this one is 8 times larger. Then let's seriously delve into this version, comet or not. Fact number 1, the sizes of comets. The largest comet in the solar system at the moment. This is Halley's Comet, but it has the shape of a strongly elongated egg, with a length of about 15 kilometers and a width of about 7 to 8 kilometers. That is, not just smaller than our artificial body, but smaller by an entire order of magnitude. Astronomers generally allow for comet sizes no more than 40 kilometers in diameter. This is just some kind of monster. Fact number 2, comets are made up of 80% gases and vapors, including water. That's why when they approach the sun, they start to actively evaporate, and as a result, a famous comet tail appears, which is made up of those same gases. The exception might be the comet's nucleus, which can be made of denser material, but it's tiny compared to the comet itself. That is, having crashed into the Earth, a comet could never produce such an amount of stone dust and sand. There's simply no key up there. It's a shame for the seasoned historians not to know this. Fact number 3. Comets like 3D Biela, which are blamed for everything, belong to the class of short-period comets, and they are very short period. This means that its period of revolution around the sun was 6.5 years. That is, it was very, very active, and with each approach to the sun, it melted stronger and stronger, like a snowflake. Therefore, in this case, I am still inclined to trust our astronomers, and I think it just split into 2 parts. One of which, by the way, still exists to this day. I hope these arguments are enough to understand that the object that caused the disaster could not have been either the Biela comet or any comet at all. It was an object much, much larger. And we're back in the dark again. Because if it's not a comet, then what is it? But have we learned anything? We've only counted the grains of sand in known deserts, and our catastrophic guest was not so picky. The clay nanoparticles speak of this all over the Earth, in every city, village, country, continent. In fact, there are many more sand deserts. Everyone knows that under the chaff trees, under the Moscow forests, Petersburg boreholes, behind the Baikal taiga, the same sand deserts are hidden, right under the trees. Of course, all this could have brought a gigantic tsunami, but then the question arises, where from, if the entire surface of the Earth is covered with this layer? Moreover, some researchers, for example, a freethinker, expressed a quite healthy and logically justified idea that it dripped from above and then flowed and melted wherever it fell. So, we need to consider the volume not only of the desert, but of the entire Earth's sphere, and not only of the continents, but also the ocean floor, that is, the area of the entire Earth's surface. But this is just something we know we've already learned. The area of the Earth is 510,072,000 square kilometers. That is this many square meters. We will calculate the depth of the soil layer to be less than in the previous calculation, let's say 8 meters, and this means that the volume of the sandy clay mixture will be this many cubic meters. The radius of such a sphere will be 199,131 meters, or in other words, 198.62 kilometers in diameter. That is, it was a pebble. In terms of size, from Moscow to Ryazan, it's more than from Moscow to Tver, it's more than from Moscow to Tula, it's more than the island of Sardinia, it's exactly half of Iceland. How do you like this size? And this is despite the fact that we skimmed over the depth of the pit. After such calculations, you want to get up and leave because it's just too fantastic. We are scared of asteroids with a diameter of 100-200 meters. They say it will be bad for everyone, that the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs was only 10 kilometers, and here it is 200 kilometers in diameter. According to the most minimal calculations, yes, it would have torn the whole planet to hell. After all, it is so. Well then, let's panic. And I'm with you, Denick friend, panicking, and then we'll decide what to do with all this. Friends, none of us are afraid of mistakes. And if you see a flaw in my logic, don't hesitate to leave your angry comment under the video, clearly, grammatically, and without typos.